When I first arrived in New Orleans, I wasn't looking for ghosts. I was chasing stories. I had always been fascinated by haunted places, the kind of places where history doesn't rest, where the air itself remembers pain. My name is Elena Moore, and I'm a travel blogger, or at least, I was. I used to make videos about abandoned houses and ghost legends for my channel. That's what brought me to the LaLaurie Mansion, one of the most haunted buildings in America. From the outside, it looked breathtaking. A tall, elegant gray mansion with wrought iron balconies curling around its sides, and windows that seemed to stare back at you. But even in daylight, something about it felt wrong. Too quiet. Too perfect. As if it were pretending to be asleep. I asked the local guide about it, an old woman named Clara, who sold charms and candles on Royal Street. When I mentioned the mansion, she froze. "You going in there?" she asked, her voice trembling. I laughed nervously. "Maybe. I just want to film a bit for my channel." Clara shook her head slowly. "People don't come back the same. If the walls start whispering, child, you run." I smiled politely, but part of me wondered if she was serious. That night, I booked a small room just a block away. I could see the mansion's roof from my window. And though the city was full of laughter and jazz, that house, even from a distance, looked like it belonged to another world. The next morning, I started my research. Madame Delphine LaLaurie, the woman behind the mansion, had been a famous socialite in the 1830s. She was known for her beauty, her wealth, and her lavish parties. But she was also known for something else, something unspeakable. Rumors said she tortured the people she enslaved, locking them in the attic, chaining them, experimenting on them like animals. When a fire broke out in 1834, the neighbors discovered her secret. And what they found was horror itself. Dozens of tortured souls, half dead, some begging for mercy. It was said that Madame LaLaurie escaped before the mob could catch her, but no one knew where she went. Some said she fled to Paris. Others said the house never let her leave. And now, nearly 2 centuries later, people still heard screams from the upper floors. Tourists fainted. Cameras malfunctioned. One man swore he saw a woman's reflection behind him, even though he was standing alone. That was all I needed to hear. I decided I'd film there that night. The air was heavy when I walked toward the mansion. It was close to midnight. Streetlights flickered, the city felt quieter than usual. I stood at the gates, holding my camera. Through the iron bars, the house stared back. Its windows were dark, but I could feel something, a pulse, slow and steady, like the building itself was breathing. When I stepped inside, the door groaned open on its own. The air smelled of dust and roses. The marble floor glistened faintly in the beam of my flashlight. "Hello?" I called out, half expecting an echo. Nothing. I started filming. Each step I took echoed too loud, as if the walls were waiting for me to make a mistake. The grand staircase loomed ahead, and portraits lined the walls. One of them, a painting of Madame LaLaurie herself, caught my eye. Her eyes were sharp, her lips curved in a faint smile. And for a second, I thought she blinked. I shook my head. "Get it together, Elena," I muttered, forcing a laugh. But then, I heard it. A faint clinking sound. Chains. Coming from upstairs. I followed the sound up the staircase, my camera trembling in my hands. The air grew colder with every step. At the top was a narrow hallway, ending in a single door, the attic. It was padlocked. But as I got closer, the lock fell off on its own, hitting the floor with a metallic clang. I froze. Then, I heard breathing. Not mine. Slow, rasping breaths. I pushed the door open. Inside, nothing. Just old furniture, dust, and shadows. But the air, it felt thick, heavy with something invisible. Then my camera flickered. And in that split second of static, I saw them. Figures. Dozens of them, their bodies twisted, their eyes hollow, staring right at me. and behind them, a woman in a silk gown, holding a whip. Her face half burned, but smiling. The camera went black. I ran. I don't remember running down the stairs. I just remember the voice. Soft at first, like a whisper against my ear, "Stay, and be beautiful forever." I stumbled to the door, but it wouldn't open. The handle turned, but it was like someone on the other side was holding it shut. I screamed, slamming my hands against the wood. Suddenly, silence. And then, click. The door opened. I ran into the street, gasping for air. People stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. When I checked my footage later, most of it was gone. The files were corrupted. All except one. It was a single frame, a still image of the attic. And behind me, in the corner, Madame LaLaurie was smiling. Her hand rested gently on my shoulder. Weeks passed. I left New Orleans. Tried to forget. But at night, I hear the same sound, the clinking of chains, the whisper of silk skirts. Sometimes, when I turn off the lights, I see her reflection behind me in the mirror. And once, I woke up with a burn mark on my shoulder, shaped like a hand. I deleted my YouTube channel. But the mansion, it won't let me go. It's like I brought part of it with me. Maybe Clara was right. When the walls start whispering, you run. But what if the whispers follow you home? Some houses don't just hold ghosts, they make them.